This season of the Urban Conservative Podcast is brought to you by Newton for Senate, working to improve education, reduce taxes, and keep North Carolina #1 for business. Find out more at newtonforsenate.com. This episode of the Urban Conservative has also been sponsored by Case Technology Consulting. Help your business get value out of its data and become more efficient and streamlined. Case Technology Consulting. Check out the link in the description. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. It's a Monday morning. It is 9 a.m. Therefore, it is time for top of the morning here on the Urban Conservative. So glad that you can join us. Hope you had an amazing weekend. I am Abdul Ali. I'm representing for the TUC Twins, my twin brother Raheem, Architect Soto. Now, if you haven't done so already, the website that you can go to support what we do here, which is exposing the BS, sharing conservative values and principles, and the benefits of conservative policies to urban communities across this great nation of ours. As always, jump in the comment section. Let us know where you're watching from so that we can get you a shout out. Also, this platform is available wherever you listen to podcasts. So if you go on whatever it is you listen to podcast on and you don't find us, send us a message. Let us know so that we can be wherever it is you are. That you enjoy listening to podcast. I'm going to be jumping on camera here momentarily. Shouts out from the G-Town, Gastonia in the building. Shouts out to Gaston County. I got to give a belated happy birthday to our Gaston County liaison for the Frederick Douglass Foundation of North Carolina, Shay Faraday. I got to give her a super huge birthday shout out, her and her wonderful family. Also, there are local elections getting ready to kick off, so you got to make sure you're paying attention as to when your local elections are happening. We've got some municipals going down on November 7th, and we'll be talking more about local elections that are happening here in North Carolina and across the country. We're going to talk a little bit about the lieutenant governor, a recent poll that came out suggesting that he is leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else. Also, if you've been living under a rock, Louisiana elects a Republican for governor. We're going to talk about that. But before we do, let me go ahead and hit y'all up with the mugshot of the day, because that, after all, is what it's about, ladies and gentlemen. You got your standard TUC mug. That's what we on with a little bit of this Tyrus Kemp coffee. The last of the Tyrus Kemp coffee, I should say. But ladies and gentlemen, one of the things is, and we talk about this on this platform a lot, is that when we elect somebody to represent us, whether that's at a local level, city council, county commissioner, school board, or whether that's state house, state senate, or a statewide office like governor or Congress or something like that, or U.S. senator, we tend to want these people to be well behaved. We operate under the premise, right, that when we elect someone, that is usually the best and brightest, right? That we've elected people that are going to act with what we hope is the best of intentions, and to kind of be on point whenever they go out places, and to be morally upstanding and all of that kind of thing. To that point, I'll present to you, ladies and gentlemen, the commissioner from Clay County, from Georgia here. Now, this sister is she's a Clayton County commissioner. Her name is Felicia Franklin, and she claimed she was drugged inside of a local sports bar. Now, you might be going, well, Ali, what does this have to do with anything? Well, let me ask you this question. When you go to a bar or you go somewhere and you claim that something happened to you, that can be a liability for that business. Saying that you were drugged at this local business, basically means that this business wasn't doing its thing the right way. So let's take a listen at what this commissioner has to say, and then we're going to take a look at something else. Check this out. Hold on. Let me see. How do I play this? Yeah, there we go. Let me turn the volume on.
HB. Channel 2's Mark Winnie now knew it.
Here we go.
Clayton County Commissioner Felicia Franklin tells Channel 2 Action News that someone drugged her at an event over the weekend. And she tells us her doctor says her behavior and symptoms were consistent with being drugged with GHB. Channel 2's Mark Winnie now live at Morrow City Hall tonight. Mark, video captured what happened that evening.
And a Morrow Police Sergeant Scott Stewart says Commissioner Felicia Franklin is cooperating with an investigation and has made a statement. And there is also police body cam video and video from the camera system at a local sports bar and grill that could shine a light on key aspects of what happened. We spoke to the commissioner this afternoon.
I just want to say thank you to the Morrow Police in, I think you said Lake City, and the Morrow Fire Department and the medical team for their immediate response. That's it, and that's all I really can say, as I don't remember.
Whoa, she don't
Looking
remember.
at any criminal aspects happen to her being a victim in this incident, if anybody might have done anything to her that night.
In all aspects of what took place?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
A spokesman for her says Clayton County Commission Vice Chair Felicia Franklin walked in the...
Wait a minute. Did y'all catch that? This lady, she didn't even reach for the door.
Chair Felicia Franklin walked in the Morrow Police Department as a
Wow.
victim of crime. And that there is a
But true. I'm sorry, y'all. That tells me a lot about somebody, especially a female. Like, she didn't even reach to get the door for herself. The entitlement is oozing out of this lady.
Walked in the Morrow Police Department as a victim of crime. And that there is a frightening but true explanation for the allegations made about her behavior in a document we obtained.
I had a medical situation due to whatever.
Yeah, that's that BS laugh right there. Like when you know you about to lie, that's the laugh that she gave.
I had a medical situation due to whatever happened with that drink.
Commissioner Franklin says her
Due
doctor
to
says
whatever
her
happened
behavior
with
and
that
symptoms
drink
were consistent with someone having drugged her with GHB, commonly known as a date rape drug, and the...
I had a medical situation.
All right, guys, remember, she said that she was drugged by someone with GHB, the date rape drug. Now, what I want y'all to see here, I want you to see what she actually was acting like. Let's take a look at this one.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Linda Stouffer. Police are now questioning a local county commissioner's story after she claimed someone spiked her drink at a bar. New at 6, Channel 2 investigative reporter Mark Winnie is live in Morrow. And Mark, police told you they have not found any evidence that anyone targeted the commissioner, Felicia Franklin, with GHB.
We can show you drink by drink by drink by drink on...
I don't even have to say nothing else. So what it sounds like to me, folks, is that...
on video, what happened according to a Morrow police investigator. And we can bring you key parts of Commissioner Franklin's side because we've got video of her interview with that police sergeant.
Get him out my face! You gotta get him out my face! I don't give a
Ah, yo, that is not someone on GHB.
Get him out my face!
That is a violent drunk right there. That...
You gotta get him out my face! I don't give a Get him out my face!
After reviewing all these hours of video and body cam video, there is no evidence to support the claim of Miss Franklin having something put in her drink.
Oh my. Yeah, there you have it.
From the body cam and the video at 44 Sports Bar and Grill.
This is Clayton County Commissioner Felicia Franklin.
That is...
Hold on. There she go, getting turned up. Let's go.
The Clayton County Commissioner, the cameras, and her claims suggesting she may have been drugged. Morrow Police Sergeant Scott Stewart says he reviewed hours of police body cam video and security video from inside the 404 Sports Bar and Grill
Wow.
to determine what caused Clayton County Commissioner Felicia Franklin to pass out
It's too many drinks, bruh.
outside the club and later behaved
Get him out this truck!
combative.
That is, I got ish-faced. That is exactly, yo, that is, I got ished. What is ished-faced for 500, Alex? Can we go? I'd like to go with ished-face Yo, the lady is just toe up. That's not how someone who has been given a date rape drug goes. That drug is designed to make you fall asleep, from what I understand.
In a Morrow Fire EMS ambulance after an officer summoned help because she may have hit her head outside 404 the night of September 29th.
She's
Yeah,
been on
she just
medication
toe
for
up.
2 weeks.
A Morrow police document says, quote, there is no evidence to support the claim of Ms. Franklin having something put in her drink. This is obtained from video at 404 Sports Bar and Grill, unquote.
We are pending a subpoena for blood to see if blood work was done at the hospital when she went.
They didn't draw blood for whatever reason.
Commissioner Franklin has told us her doctor says her behavior and symptoms were consistent with someone having drugged her with GHB, commonly known as a date rape drug. And in fairness, one video shows...
I don't know what they gave.
Are you okay?
No, I'm not. I don't know what they
Where's your
gave
purse?
me.
Sergeant Stewart said a receipt collected from 404 Sports Bar and Grill indicates Commissioner Franklin paid the tab with a credit card called Committed to Elect Felicia. He suggested...
Hold on. Did y'all catch that? She used her campaign credit card, and this is what we're talking about here. She used her campaign credit card to go have a good night. And I have to agree with this comment right here. That takes away a true trauma that someone could have really been raped. She paid for this. I can't make this up, y'all.
Said a document indicates she the tab with a credit card called Committed to Elect Felicia. Sports Bar and Grill indicates Commissioner Franklin paid the tab with a credit card called Committed to Elect Felicia. He suggested a document indicates she had 3 of the That's Home Run drinks.
3 That's Home Run at 45. Whoa. That's a home run. Sounds like a
This
pretty
document
stiff drink.
indicates it contains 40 proof Hennessy and Grand Marnier.
Woo.
Plus, a glass of wine was ordered.
A 9-ounce pour was ordered. The waitress here is delivering the first drink of wine to Commissioner Franklin that she ordered. This is the first home run drink that Miss Franklin ordered after the wine. That would be the second home run that was ordered by Miss Franklin. That's the part where she left the drink at the table. Nobody touches it at that table as well. So that's the home run drink delivered by the waitress there. We believe it's her 4th drink.
4th drink, your evidence indicates, ordered and received by Commissioner Felicia Franklin.
That's correct.
Come on, bro. Ain't nobody GHB you, lady. You got toe up. You got caught drunker than a skunk is what occurred here. You was drunker than a skunk. Yo, you got bagged up being towed down is what ends up happening. But then you turn around and to suggest that you were given GHB, that you were somehow given a date rape drug. That's a typical Democrat leftist, and I dare say politician-y move. And yes, she paid for those drinks with her campaign finance money, or her campaign money. Where are they allowed to do that? That didn't look like a campaign event to me. There was nothing campaign oriented about that right there. So, ladies and gentlemen, Lady Felicia out there in Georgia, again, we're talking about this sister right here who represents in Clay County. We're talking about the Clay County Commissioner, Felicia Franklin, consumed drink after drink after drink, went outside and collapsed. They show her being combative in the ambulance. And her spokesman, Shaheen Solomon, told the news that he's known Franklin for 35 years and she doesn't get drunk and there's no way she uses marijuana. Now, they did get a subpoena, right? They got a subpoena for her blood. And the interesting thing about that, because her spokesman, the Democrat spokesman guy there said, there's no way, I've known her for 35 years. She don't use marijuana. Well, listen to this. Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. She looked like the auntie that get toe up. Let's keep it all the way funky, y'all. This lady got toe up, is basically what happened. She got toe up, is what happened. Hold on. Cannabis in the system. They found it. It's urinalysis confirmed. So yeah, this idea that this lady got drugged is absolutely ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna be right back on top of the morning. We're gonna talk a little bit about Louisiana going red, going Republican. That's a good sign. Y'all don't go nowhere. We'll be right back on top of the morning. Episode of Top of the Morning is brought to you by Edward Jones financial advisor Kelly Harmon, providing you with well-researched guidance backed by Edward Jones' extensive team and technology that help you prepare for retirement, children's education, or other financial goals. Call 252-473-1006 or visit the link on the screen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're back. Top of the morning here on the Urban Conservative. Whew, buddy, we just talked about lady in Georgia got caught lying. You know, again, there are a lot of people that suffer from incidences like that where they're given a drink. You know, human trafficking is a real thing. And for her to use that, just it goes to show how some people will do anything to cover up for their own behavior. In reality, all the sister had to do is be like, y'all, I had one too many of them daggone home runs and I was gone. Most people would respect that. You know what I'm saying? Most people, I know I would. I'd respect it because I've been there. I've had one or three too many drinks, and yeah, that's the result of that. But we're gonna move to Louisiana, and if you don't know who that guy is on your screen, that is the new governor of the state of Louisiana, Attorney General Jeff Landry. And this goes to show, and I'm gonna say this because there's a lot of people who were saying, "Oh, you know, there's no way Trump supported candidates can win. You know, Trump is no way, especially in a state like Louisiana, the Trump-backed candidate. There's no way he's gonna win, and the Trump candidates are terrible, and this, that, and the third." Well, what we just saw in Louisiana is that he avoided a runoff. And what this is a major victory for the GOP. They reclaimed the governor's mansion for the first time in 8 years. Governor John Bel Edwards was unable to be reelected due to consecutive term limits. He was the only Democratic governor in what they call the Deep South. Now, Landry did issue a statement saying that today's election says that our state is united. It's a wake-up call and it's a message that everyone should hear loud and clear that the people in this state are going to expect more out of our government from here on out. By garnering more than half of the votes, Landry avoided an expected runoff under the state's jungle primary system. The last time there wasn't a gubernatorial runoff in Louisiana was 2011 and 2007, when Bobby Jindal, who was a Republican, won the governor's office. The governor-elect celebrated with his supporters during a watch party in Broussard, Louisiana, described the election as historic. Now, Landry is 52 years old. He raised the profile of Attorney General since taking that office in 2016. He used the office really to champion conservative policy positions, and most recently, he's been in the spotlight over in his involvement with a staunch support of laws that have drawn much debate, including banning gender-affirming medical care for transgender youth, which is something that I think the people in the state of Louisiana are not in favor of. They're just not in favor of that. You know, it is a terrible idea. Top of the morning, good morning to Rocky Mount. It is a terrible idea, right? It is just a I don't want to call it a you know what, but it is a shit show of an idea to allow young people to manipulate and modify their own bodies. I mean, for Christ's sake, we're talking about kids that aren't even old enough to vote. You're not old enough to serve in the military. You can't buy cigarettes, but we're just gonna let you hack your genitals off because you felt like it one day. Not a good look. So I agree with him banning gender-affirming medical care for transgender youth. The state's near total abortion ban that doesn't have exceptions for cases of rape and incest, and a law restricting youth access to sexually explicit material in libraries. Landry has repeatedly clashed with Edwards over matters in the state, including LGBTQ rights, state finances, and the death penalty. However, The Republican has also repeatedly put Louisiana in national fights, including over President Joe Biden's policies that limit oil and gas production and COVID-19 mandates. He spent 2 years on the Hill beginning in 2011, where he represented Louisiana's 3rd U.S. congressional district. Prior to that, he served 11 years in the Louisiana Army National Guard as a local police officer, a deputy, and an attorney. So I am proud to see that the state of Louisiana has put a strong on crime, fiscal conservative into the governor's mansion. I think that's the right move for the state of Louisiana, especially, and I don't know what the crime is like there. So let's look up crime in Louisiana, right? In Louisiana, there were 26,078 violent crimes in 2021, or 564 for every 100,000 people, the highest violent crime rate among the 41 states with available data. So this is the FBI usually released there, and this story is back in October of last year. So violent crime in Louisiana, 26,000. Meanwhile, the national violent crime rate based on incomplete data stands at 334 per 100,000. So I could imagine that there's places in Louisiana, New Orleans, and other places where the crime would be higher. But I think that given the fact that you've got a pro law enforcement, strong Republican conservative going into the governor's mansion, we should see more support coming for law enforcement, more protection for the communities that need it. And it's a good look to see a strong conservative going into the governor's mansion in Louisiana. Now, the thing to consider on this, and what makes this more interesting, is the fact of the matter that we have our own strong conservative candidate, very much on the, well, let's just say he ain't center right, he's to the right. But Mark Robinson, and the interesting thing about this, as we parallel kind of what's going on there, is that Locke, the John Locke Foundation, has recently released a new poll, and in that poll, it is showing that Mark Robinson is leaps and bounds ahead of his nearest competitor, which is Dale Falwell. Falwell's polling at 4.9. Mark Walker's falling at 4.1. Andy Wells and Jesse Thomas are both polling at less than 1%. I don't even know why they're running if they're polling at less than 1%. I don't understand that. I never understood staying in the fight when like not even 1% of the people are going to support you. Now, if there is a reason why Mark Robinson is ahead, and even when you look at the head-to-head comparison between Josh Stein, if the election were today, Mark Robinson would win. And people are going to go, well, why? What's going on in North Carolina? Well, I'll tell you something. More people than not, okay, in North Carolina, see, people say, oh, we're a purple state, North Carolina's trending purple. And from a demographic perspective, that very well may be true. When you look at the fact that we have more unaffiliated voters than Democrats and Republicans, you look at the growth in our urban centers, it's I think, an almost fair statement to make that we're trending purple. However, when you look at our election history, the last 2-3 elections in North Carolina, what is not up for debate is that people in North Carolina want law and order. They don't want children to be allowed to chop off their genitals. They're not in favor of late stage, up to the moment of birth type of abortion. They don't want young men who have decided, okay, they don't want young men in North Carolina who have decided tomorrow or today that they're no longer young men, they're young women, to go beating up on their young women in sports. They don't want that. They don't want a state that doesn't have fiscal responsibility. And we're not going to pretend for one moment that Josh Stein would not be Roy Cooper 3.0. Like, that would be an absolutely devastating economically. Now, the benefit to this is that we would still have, a Republican control of the General Assembly. Now, one of the things we have to look at when the question is asked is, why is Mark Robinson winning in North Carolina? Well, let's consider something. The guy is not a career politician like a Josh Stein, like a Roy Cooper. He's not a career politician, number one. Number two, I think that the story that sticks to everybody is, You can come from being an everyday person like Mark Robinson did. There was nothing, and I say this respectfully, there was nothing out of the ordinary about Mark Robinson. Now, the funny thing to me, and I don't know, y'all jump in the comments and let me say this. We have a bad habit. The media in our state has a bad habit of wanting to attack people. And I'm seeing this attack on Mark Robinson. First, they're saying the guy's an anti Semite. Then, as the acting governor, he issues a statement on Israel. So now they're trying to beat him up on that. The guy had money problems like every other American has had money issues, unless you're one of these rich trust fund kids who ain't never had to work a day in your life and don't know what it is to struggle. The guy has had a normal life just like the rest of us. And I think that is what people are seeing in Mark Robinson. They're not seeing some cut and dry stiff politician who doesn't speak his mind. And I'll tell you straight up and down, I would prefer somebody running for office that has the courage to stand on their convictions and that will say, you know what, I don't know, I'm not good at this, but I will find the people who can get me the right information to make a decision on, more often than not. And then the other thing that I think we've got to take a look at is negative campaigning doesn't work. It doesn't work. So when you have a candidate out there saying 20 years ago, Mark Robinson did this, or 20 years ago, Mark Robinson did that, nobody cares, bro. The average person in North Carolina is not worried about what happened with Mark Robinson 25 years ago. And I'll tell you, I have personal experience with this. When I ran for city council, when I ran for the state vice chair, people, even in your own party, will use your past or will attempt to use your past against you. And the interesting thing is, I've never heard Mark Robinson shy away from saying, yeah, I was just like every other American dealing with the economy, like in my situation. What I found interesting was that the people that were attacking me about my background, never been charged with a felony, never been convicted of a felony, never spent more than 8 hours in the in the local jail for getting pulled over. Those very same people that attacked me are now attacking Mark Robinson. And I just don't understand it. I don't get it. In one breath, we're the conservatives and the Republicans. We got to move forward, but you're not quite good enough for that. And I think that the problem is we see that, when we look at the numbers of people leaving the GOP and going unaffiliated, I think a big part of that is people don't want to deal with this purity test that you got to go through on the Republican side of the aisle. And they're attempting to do that to Mark Robinson. I think he's doing a great thing by flying like I did. I wasn't going to get in the mud with people. And I think that's the right thing for him to do, is to stay above it, not get in the mud, and continue to get his message out there that North Carolina is a state that will defend life. North Carolina is a state that will defend our young women and our children from this radical left LGBTQ chop off your genitals agenda and all of this filth and nastiness in the classroom. So I think it's a no-brainer that Mark Robinson is ahead, given what we're hearing coming out of the radical left in the Democrat Party. Now, the only other option they're going to have is he's the black face of white supremacy. And they told me that too. Well, I don't know if you've ever had an opportunity to meet Mark Robinson, but white supremacist he is not, ladies and gentlemen. But with that said, what do you think? Why is Mark Robinson winning ahead in the polls here in North Carolina? What do you think about Louisiana going to a Republican governor? And last but not least, let us know what you think about that sister in Georgia claiming that she was drugged and really wasn't, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you tonight at 8 p.m. for an episode of the Urban Conservative Podcast. Again, each and every Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. right here on the Urban Conservative for top of the morning. We appreciate you rocking with us as always. For my twin brother, Raheem, Architect Soto, I'm Abdul Ali. We'll see y'all later for the Urban Conservative Podcast. Peace and love, y'all.